Hello everyone, this is Glitchy, and I'm here with a tutorial on how to make your own FNaF character in Unity for VRChat. Now, this is going to be a different thing from what I usually do, but not only is this for you, the viewer, but this is also for me, just in the future, to remember what I'm doing. So, the first thing that you want to do is you want to import your FBX of a character and make sure that it has a proper rig to it. Now, the proper rig would be having both legs, both arms, chest, and head, and whatever in the same proper place that it should be. And if you want to check if the armature works, you go to the little model down here, and you go to rig, and then you click humanoid. And then after that, you click apply. And then if you want to see if it actually works, you go to configure, and yes, everything is in its proper place. Perfect. You don't need to worry about upper chest unless it's like a bust or something different from that. So we are through with that, and it is on to giving her a descriptor. You want to go to add component, and if you're using VRC Fury, that's still fine too, but you want to look up descriptor, VRChat avatar descriptor, right here. And now what we're going to do is we're going to give her jaw movements. We need to go to lip sync, we need to go to default, jaw flat bone, right here. So this right here, we click the little thingy right here, and we can click jaw, and it should be there. Once we have this, we click return, and you want to move the X right here to however much you want their mouth to be closed. So I want Roxy's mouth to be about that closed. Ooh, we don't want it to be like that. I'd say Roxy's mouth would be about that open. And then we click return, and so you can see there's a visible difference right there. And now we want to go to open, and this is how wide her mouth will be open. So you just do the same thing but in the opposite direction. And so that's probably, it's about okay for her mouth to be. The next thing we're gonna do is eye look, and we want to enable that. And it doesn't really matter your thing in eye movements right here. I'm just choosing for mine to be a bit slower. And then we want to go to eye transforms and click eye, and her left eyeball, and eye, and her right eyeball. Those are for her bones. And rotation states. Rotation states are just like what we did with the jaw, except this part, of course, is with her eyes. So if we want her to be looking up, this is how far she will be looking up. So this is her looking left and right. We don't need that right now. That's her looking down. I want her to maybe about look that high up. So we will click return, and then looking down is the same thing. Now looking left, we don't do X, instead we do Y this time. So if I want her to be looking left, she will be looking this way. And if we want her to be looking right, about there. Okay. So we have our eyes done. We don't need to worry about eyelid type just yet, but what we need right now is go down to expressions and inspector and select customize. Now, what we need to do is, what I like to do is I like to create a new folder. So click create and then folder, and then I would name it something like 01 Roxy. Alright, and then we go to create, down, animator controller. And then we would name it something like FX. Alright, so go to O1 Roxy, and then we click Create, VRChat, Avatars, Expression Parameters, and then we do the same for Expressions menu. And then we want to drag these and put them right under here. And that should be about good. We also want to go to Playable Layers and put our FX right in here. So we have that. And while I'm at it, I still have Gesture Manager that I want to install. Okay, so I have my Go-Go Loco, and then I will just drag it onto the avatar. And then what I want to do is I'm going to go into play mode, and then we will go down here and click Gesture Manager. And as you can see, she looks like she is in the desktop default mode. With her mouth open, we don't need to worry about that in VRChat because that will change. And so you want to test if all of this works. So let's see, put her in the sitting position. And as you can tell, she doesn't have any fizz bones in her hair, so let's get to that. Okay, so you have your avatar, and it's all rigged, and you made sure that it's working properly. And now what you want to do is you want to add fizz bones. Now, you don't have to add fizz bones. This is just my own thing that I want to do with my characters. So I'm just repositioning her tail real quick. And what you want to do is click on the first vertice, or the first bone, click Add Component, and then look up VRChat Fizzbone. And now it'll give you all of this. You don't need to panic if you're not used to this. What you want to do is you want to go to Immobile Type, and depending on how far you put it up, depends on how much fizz bones there will be in the avatar. So if you have it all the way up here, it'll barely move. But if you have it all the way down here, it'll move like there's ants in their pants or something. So I would really maybe put her physics about right there. And then if you want to, you can go up here in this little area and click that, and we can put in collisions. Now this is for if people want to like grab a fizz bone and move it around. So usually they're very big, so you want to put 0.2, and yeah, see, look, that's way too big. So continue adding zeros until you feel it's comfortable. I think I'll put this at 0.1. Okay. And now, just to be sure, I'm going to test it in play mode. Let's go to here and remodeled Roxy. And as you can see, her tail moves, but her hair does not. And this right down here, we'll get to that in just a moment. So, to continue with the rest of her fizz bones, you just copy, you just rinse and repeat everything. You might want to copy these if you want things to be even. Okay. And now for the ears, it can be totally different. So let's go to right ear, fizz bones, and then I'm going to make the immobile type about the same, but a little less so that it won't move as much. So we copy, and then to about there is good. Now let's go into play mode, and we will see how this looks. So go to remodeled Roxy, and as you can see, everything moves about the same, but I don't want the green hair to be that flowy, so I will fix that. And all you really need to do is amp this up just a little bit. And as you can see, it's not moving as much. So that's good. And then up and down, we can test her ears. And as you can see, her earrings are also affected by it. So that's that step done, and we're going back into looking at eye look. So eye look is very important. We go back to view and view position, and we want to have this enabled so we know where we're looking. So we click edit, and this thing down here, you will see a tiny ball. This thing right here. And you want it to be about where her eyes are, but sticking out just a little bit. So about there seems good. Maybe a bit farther back. Okay. And so in VRChat, she will have that. So you can see properly and you're not looking down where her feet are. Alright, the very next thing I'm going to show you is how to add animations for the eyes for your character. So the first thing that you want to do is you want to go and you want to select a certain folder. I have one specifically for animations. Right here you want to go to the Animations tab, and you want to scroll down to this right here, right below the word preview. You want to click create new clip, and I already have some animations for her, so I will just say angry. We will go with angry. And so what we want to do next is we want to go to add property down here. We want to click body, and then we want to click the plus sign where it says game object is active. Now, we're working with keyframes here, and keyframes basically just make an animation go forward or backwards or loop. It just makes the animation go along. So as you can see, Roxy is just in a weird pose down here. So I have mine set to 7, but it really depends on how fast you want your animation to be. And so with that, we click the red record button. And then let's say if we're making an angry toggle, we are going to select both her upper eyelids by clicking Control, and then we're going to move them down just a bit, and then let's only select one, and let's move it this way. And for the rotation, we can just copy this right here, and then we can go into her right upper eyelid and click Control V and take away the negative. So we have that as her angry, and then to get her out of this position, we just click Preview. And now, what you want to do is you want to go to your remodeled character. You want to go down to Playable Layers and click FX. And then, since I already have it set up, what you want to do is you want to go to this plus sign right here and click int for integer. And you can name it whatever you want, but be careful, you have to copy that word exactly. And now we go to layers and we click this mark up here, and then we copy that. I put expressions, and then we click this little cogwheel over here, and we move the weight to 1 so that we have it set up properly. So I have these set up already for her, but what you want to do is you want to click and create a state and create empty, which will give you this. And you can name it whatever you want, but what you want to do is you want to right click on any state and say make transition, and then link it to here. And you want to use this, you want to click on this right here, and you want to turn off can transition to self. Turn off the check mark of can transition to self. And then you want to go into settings, and make sure that this box is not checked off. So has exit time is unmarked. And you can change the duration to however long you want it to be. But first, to have a menu toggle for it, we go into our parameters right here. We click this plus button down here, and then we copy and paste the word into it, and then we go right here and we click integer for it. And then we go to our menu. We make sure we have the same parameters, and you can name this toggle whatever you want, but we're going to have it as a sub menu. So in the type, it says sub menu. And then you want to make an extra menu by clicking right click, create, VRChat, avatars, expressions menu. After you make your new menu and name it whatever you want to add it to the submenu toggle down here. So you just take this and drag it into here. So let's say I want to drag in my animation for Roxy's angry eyes. So we do that. We right click and we say make transition. We click on this. Make sure that it's set to however fast you want it to enter. Can transition to self is off. And then down here in conditions, we want to click expressions equals, and then this depends on how many expressions you have currently. So new state will be 0. So expressions equals 0. So that is their default face. And let's say this is her first toggle that we want, it will be expressions equals 1. And then we just go down the line. And so for her angry eyes for this, it will be expressions equals 4. All right. And another important thing is we want to click on our animation and we want to make sure that loop time is checked off. We do not want the animation to loop. So we go back to our submenu that we just made. We click this plus sign down here and we click new control. And then we say something along the lines of angry, and then the type would be a toggle, and then down here in the value, you just put the number that you put right here. And then we can enter play mode and we can see if this works. So her happy works, her half lids work, her closed works, and her angry works. And it can go from any state that we want. So now that we have that finished, that should be the basics of making an avatar from scratch. Now you can add toggles for props, and if you want I can make an extra video for that just in case, but for now that is all you need to know. So I will see you next time. Bye bye.